Okay, this is John. I'll talk a little bit about LSP and I'll mention Brownsville in the process since we just got started. LSP got started in 2016. Brian Stevenson spoke to a group of people in Memphis and said to them, Shelby County, you've had more lynchings than any other county in the state of Tennessee. And at that time, EJI had identified 21 lynchings that they knew about. And the people in Memphis came together and said, yeah, we need to do something about this, and began to do research. And right now we know about 35 lynchings that took place in Shelby County. One of the ones that stood out was the L. Person lynching in 1917. And they set about the idea of doing a 100-year memorialization of the L. Person lynching. There were over 5,000 people that came to that lynching, and I won't go into all the details, but one aside I do want to share with you, James Weldon Johnson at the time of that lynching was a NAACP field secretary who actually went to Memphis to investigate that lynching. And he went to the actual site and he wrote, and he said, as I sat looking at where the charred remains of L. Person was, he said, it suddenly flashed over me that the problem of race in America was the saving of black bodies and white souls. And I've said in many presentations, that statement is as true today as it was when it was uttered back over 100 years ago. What is our focus? Our focus is in recognizing and memorializing the 35 people who were lynched in Shelby County, the 21 that we know about. Our accomplishments, and we've put up 4 markers already. We have some more in the pipeline. In fact, we're planning on doing a marker dedication this year on July the 15th to the 3 men that were lynched as a result of the People's Grocery lynching, which set off the career of Ida B. Wells. And the reason we're going to do that on July the 15th is that on July the 16th, there's another committee in Memphis that has raised a fund and is going to dedicate a statue to Ida B. Wells on her birthday on July the 16th. Other things that we've accomplished, in doing the work that we've done, we have connected family members who did not know each other, who also did not know that they had a relative that was lynched. That was one of our more successful experiences that we've had. And the main thing, our thrust is to connect the past to the present day reality. That was especially true with the events that occurred in 2020. What is one of the biggest lessons that our organization has learned since our existence? Shelby County, as you know, has 7 different municipalities in it. Obviously, some of those 35 lynchings occurred in very small communities. Not all of them were inside the city limits of Memphis. They occurred throughout Shelby County. And so one of the things that we learned as we began to memorialize these people is that we had to get local community buy-in. And that kind of goes back, Carol, to what you were talking about in Edgefield. You've got to find a way to work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you have to start the conversation with them. But that was one of the biggest lessons that we learned. The other thing we found out, there are a lot of people out there that need a space, both black and white, where they can come and have this difficult conversation. The other thing we realized, there is a lot of pent-up demand among all kinds of people to want to begin to address this legacy of racial terrorism, but they have no earthly idea where to start. The Lynching Sites Project, I've said on many occasions, provides a safe space where people can, in fact, come in and have that conversation. What is the biggest challenge your organization is currently facing? I mentioned a few minutes ago about the L. Person lynching. The L. Person lynching occurred on the banks of the Wolf River, underneath what at that time was the Macon Road Bridge. And one of the commitments that LSP made is that we would develop that site similar to what you're doing in Chattanooga around the Ed Johnson project. And right now we are beginning to have meetings with the Wolf River Conservancy, with Shelby County, and other groups about developing the site. And so that's the thing that we're facing right now. The question you asked, what would make it worth your organization's time to partner and collaborate with other Tennessee racial justice organizations across the state? And what I'm about to say is based on my experience doing this and talking with other people around the state and in other localities outside of Tennessee. I think the real advantage is that the work that we are doing, there is no model to go back because no one has done this kind of work in Jackson or Weakley or Chattanooga or what have you. But one of the things where I think we can get great bang for the buck is that all of us want to continue this work and all of us want to continue to put up markers, memorials, artifacts that tell the story. It's getting the funding for it. And so I think our uniting to go in, because there are some large funds out there, like the Kellogg Foundation that set aside, I think, $90 million. The Mellon Foundation set aside $250 million. And there's other organizations like that. There are organizations and entities that are wanting to sink money into this. I don't know that any one of us standing alone would really get enough bang for their buck to be able to get the dollars that we need. But I think collectively, if we can collectively work together, I think we can go after a much larger piece of that. And I'll defer most of that commentary to Margaret. And let me just mention one other thing. In Brownsville, they are just getting started. They had the first meeting 2 nights ago and asked me to be a part of that. They're going to form and organize and do that. But they're looking at getting the duplicate column from Montgomery also. And so with that, I don't want to take all the time. So let me stop right there. Go ahead, because I could talk forever about a bunch of things we're doing.
Exactly, John. Thank you. It's always interesting, by the way. So I enjoy it.